That's what should happen eventually. Anyway, okay, so how does it really work? I have a list here. When I click, by the way, I click, the beautiful part, this one becomes to be editable. When I go to directors, I click on town clerks, I get something and it's editable. That's the real important element, which is not trivial. So what the structure? I have to have one table for towns, which you already have used. You included all the towns, and that makes the list on the left side. So we have one table for the towns. And then we have tables that linked with a foreign key to the towns. So each one of
Okay.
them projects has a table with a foreign key to the towns. This one has a table with a foreign key to here, etc. And now I'm doing tenders. So I'm going to go through the whole process of how I turn tenders to be a list, and then we will add some data in the database, and then we'll see how the whole mechanism works.
Okay.
So let's go to stage number one is the models. If you look at the models, they have several tables. It's really quite similar. Towns, by the way, the towns I put behind the scene, if it's not northern, such central, but let's not divert. But the most important is we have a table for a town, and almost every table that we make, for example, received messages, it's foreign key to towns. Everything is links to towns. This one I haven't used it yet. We will eventually. We'll put a list of all employees. We'll get there. Projects we have. If you look at the projects, we have a table. Okay. And if you look at here, sorry, let's look at here. We have projects. You see projects? Here we don't have anything. Let's see if I have in Kampala any projects. Hold a second. Let's see. Yeah. In Kampala, in fact, there are more. I didn't put all of them. And you need to fill it up. Let's open up the website of Kampala. And Kampala, they have projects. Let's see. Yeah, they do have projects. I just only met the first two. You see that?
Yeah.
Let's add the third one. The third one, you need to go, of course, here. And no, this one, it's on the server. Let me use the one on my computer development server.
Check again.
That's on my computer, just I didn't run the server. I didn't run the server here. It's probably giving me an error here because I haven't finished something. That's okay, I'll fix it in a minute. Hold a second. Yeah, tenders was already registered. Yeah, I just did that, the tenders. I was in the middle of working on the tender. Okay. So let me go. In fact, you know what? So because I'm in the middle of it, so let's in fact go back to the one on the server. Here we go. This one is on the server. If we go to the admin, that's one on the Amazon, okay? If you go here, you have all the tables of Uganda towns and you
Yeah.
have projects. You see that?
Yeah.
And here we go. I put only three of Kampala. You can tell institutional and infrastructure, Uganda. Let's look at the website of Kampala. If you look at the Kampala projects, this is the first one, Africa Smart Town Network, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what I did here. Kampala, you see that one? Here, the way I put the information.
Okay.
I put order. This is the order tells which one is the first or the second or the third. We might want to change the sorting will be the inverse. So the higher one will be the first and allow them to add more over time and always show only 5 or 6. That will come later on. We deal with it. But for
Okay.
now, I choose the town because I have a foreign key. So I have all the town. I choose Kampala. Okay. Then I put a name. I put it active. I can remove it. If it's not active, by the way, another solution is just to remove the one that are not active. Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything. So just make them inactive. They will go away. And that one filled automatically. One day I will teach you how it does it. It's very important. Slug is very important for search engines.
Oh,
Okay, this is a simple table. Let's go and look at the table here. If you look at projects, it's a table. This stuff is really is like metadata. We can ignore them for now. This is important. I can make the table order by the order field. If I put a minus here, it will order from the highest to the lowest. Otherwise, it's from one to whatever. I could go the other way around, and we most likely will change it to a minus later on. The rest is easy. I have a field order. The town is a foreign key. Project's name. This one automatic field active. You have seen. Description is a special field which is editable online. I won't get into that. It's really kind of linked to Django CMS, but just accept it. And then there is a slug. Slug is really done instead of an index, like ID number. If you remember, we had a primary key. This is like replacement to a regular ID, which is numeric. So I put a slug. A slug it's looked for in search engine. One day I will talk to you about it. For now, you know it. This one is very important. Also, I will talk one day, okay?
okay.
But the structure I made it, it's almost the same. I made it to go to the same function in the view called menu town model. Here, the only things, if you see the important things here, it says projects. And projects, it's the same as the table name. Very important. Later on, one day, it will make more sense. Okay? You
Yes.
with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Just for now, just look at it. Later on, I will even send you the code. You can look at it. That's very important. You can see this is, I thought about it very deeply. It's not a coincidence. He takes a menu, it takes the town slag, it's the slag of the parents. So he knows who is the parents, so which city it is. It takes a menu which tells me which objects I am, so the model projects, and the item slag, it's which specific project it is. That's generally, it doesn't make a lot of sense for now, but eventually it will. Just accept it for now, okay? This one, another thing is how it looks like, not interesting. This is very important. You never need to touch it, by the way. The only things you need to do, change project. This one, it's a project's name. That's the way I gave it, a project's
Okay.
name. Now let me show you, I'm working on the tenders. I haven't opened tenders yet. If you see, tenders, let's go here again. If the tenders doesn't work, you see, I don't have a list. I want to turn it to a list. So every city can have a tenders, if they have tenders, okay? How do I turn it to a list? Like the projects. Projects, we have a list, okay? If I want to add, I just simply add to the table, automatically it will add them to the list, and we'll do it some other time. For now, just understand the logic. And the beauty here, I copied in the tenders. See, I made the tenders. So instead of projects, I call it tenders. You see that?
Yeah.
Here, I just changed it to tender, plural. The same things. Order, same links. Same thing, the only things I changed it to tender name. You see that?
Yeah.
The same thing. Those three I haven't touched, exactly the same. It gives me the date, you put the data, tells me if you made any change, it automatically will change, but I don't really care. That's what I might use. Active is very important. It tells me if I want to show it on the menu or not. Description is the same, exactly the same. Look at the slug. Slug, also exactly the same. The only things I changed the word tender slug. In fact, doesn't have any effect, but everything is the same. This one, it's exactly the same. The only difference, okay, this one is town slag, which is the parent. This one, the menu I changed to the name of the object itself. Here is the same thing, self, meaning to the specific tender. Here also, just change tender. You see, it's like I copied myself. Everything
Yeah.
is the same. Here it's also the same. I just changed tender name, and it's supposed to work. That's amazing. This one, in fact, I want to change another things. It's about us. You know what? Let me take it out for now. I will do it later on. And that's a little tricky. There we will do a little. It's already I can do the same, but I finished with the model. The model is the first one. So stage number 2, I have to register it in the admin. But since I already have done, okay, I can just really copy this one. This one, it's not a good one. Name, email, subject. Not this one. I take the projects because the projects is really one-to-one. Here is projects. Okay, take the projects. And why it doesn't like me here? I don't have enough room. Yeah, I need another line. Okay, and I will just put it in the end here. Control V. So I would just change the word project to tenders. Stop me another 5 minutes. We have to start the other class. Are they ready?
Yeah, almost.
Okay. So just a few more minutes. At least we finish the table. And here I have, instead of projects, it should be tender name. And here I have a town and tender name. That's it. Almost. Tender. By the way, this is very important function. It creates automatically the slug. Okay? It takes the tender name, he does something to it, and then he put a dash. It doesn't leave spaces, and it combined the name of the town. In fact, it takes the ID of the town and add the name of the tender. Okay? And then it turns it to a
Okay.
slug. How does it do it? You don't really care. You just know that that works. Okay. Now I registered the tender. I registered stage number 1. We go here and we just control C and we do migrations. Is that right? Make migrations
Yeah.
and make sure that everything's work. We have migrate. I'm working on my computer now, okay? This is like development computer. It's not really on Amazon. I will have to upload it later on, and that's I have a whole another computer that I use for that. But that's for some other time. Okay, now if I go here and we go to the, let me go, in fact, not here, I will go, now I can go to here and go to Uganda admin. And we should really see that we have a new table. We don't have it still, of course, on the Amazon because I didn't do it on the Amazon, but I have a mechanism that knows how to copy. You see, we have tender supposed to be here. I don't see tender. Do you? Doesn't like me. Towns. 120. Why it doesn't like me? Let me see. I put it in the admin. probably have, yeah. I didn't probably bring the, I didn't register, okay? I didn't register the, so let's take the projects, this one we didn't take. We have to register. And before I can register it, I have to bring it here. So here I have to bring it to here, tenders. Now that I have the tenders here, I can go down here, Control V, and I will just change this one to say tenders.
Yeah.
Those stuff you already learned in the previous course,
Well, that's right.
okay? Now we are done. In fact, it should show up now. Let's restart the server. Let's go here again, refresh, and we should see, and here we go, we have a table, tenders. Let's just make it and see. If I will add one, I will add new,
Agenda.
I'll put number one. Since we have a foreign key, I can choose the city. This I didn't put all the cities, of course, because it does development computer. When I upload it to the server, it will show me all of them. Let's choose Kampala just for the fun of it. And let's see in Kampala if there is tenders. Is there tenders in Kampala? Yeah, here we go.
Yes.
By the way, they have this screen for tenders. They're putting these tenders here. You see that?
Yeah.
But those are those really tenders or are those advertisements? It's really has to be explored. If you look at their main page, you see here it's like announcements. You see that? Procurement, notices. You see that? And they have those kind of things. So depends what they are. By the way, this is not a bad idea to put on a map page. We can change, whoever likes that kind, we can do that. I think making a big, not even, if you look at Kampala, Oslo did it, they leave only one picture. And I think this is much smarter. You don't want it to be flipping. This one, keep only one nice picture about your city. And then if you want flipping, make a small one on a specific topics. Anyway, that's procurement. I looked at it as like announcements, okay? I put, let's say, if you look at this one, but if I go to the tenders, let's take just one of them. Let's look at the tenders. I went here. This is the tenders. Is that right? Am I right?
Yeah.
It seems like construction, but it seems like the same things as the other one. You see that? Upgrading, blah, blah, blah. Let's go back. Let's go back to the home page. It looks to me the same stuff, isn't it? Am I right?
You're right.
It looks like nonsense. Is it announcement? What is it? If it's tenders.
There are some ongoing projects, something like that.
So let's just let's say if this is really it under tenders, though it really should be under tenders. I put it under announcements, by the way. If you look at the web page, I put it for Kampala. You see, I put it right here. You see that?
Yeah.
But here, this should be really just for news, and tenders really should be here. So this list really shouldn't be here. We should really delete it and put something else. You got it? Because they are really putting them in two places. They shouldn't. They're duplicating themselves and not noticing. You notice? When you look at their website, it's under tender, one place. You get it here. And if you go to the home page, it's like under procurement notices, but it's the same list. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's exactly the same list, by the way. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't really, it has to be two different. I think there's a place for news. This part should be for news, ongoing news. And this is something you should allow a town clerk to put on a weekly basis or a daily basis even. he has something new, just type it in and allow him to update it, put a new one and double click here, and put whatever he wants to put as a notice. That's what it should be. Tenders, that's what this list is supposed to. So how do I enter, and then we'll stop. I want to start the session. Let's put just for the exercise, ABC, okay?
Okay.
DE, just so you know how it works. By the way, you see it's filled up automatically.
The slug, yeah.
The reason the one that did it, okay, the one that did it in the admin, it's this function. You put the number of the town, because we have each town has a number. It is not the order number. It is the ID number, which we don't see usually, and the tender name. So that's the way it works. This is the special things about this function. Get populated fields, okay? It's a special function. So that's what we get here. Now, and I don't really have to worry about it. Now I will save it. And I got an error. Tender is not defined. Name tender is not defined. Why does I click? Line 262. Line 262. That's it.
I can't see that. There is phone number. Okay.
262.
Yeah, Max phone number. Max phone number.
260. Right, it was 260. No, this is 252. 262, yeah. Tender. Yeah, this should be plural. My mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's refresh. And let's go back. Hopefully we'll take it. It will ask me, yeah, resend. So that's good. So it really put the data here. Everything's work. Now is how do you make it so this one will show up in the list. So we have the table so far. We have the table, like we want to show it here. Okay. So if I go here, by the way, and go back to, not this one, not this one, hold a second. This one is on my computer. This is one on the server. Let's close it. Confuses me. And this one is on the server also. So let's close it too. Let's go to here. This is on my server. Eventually we'll do. Okay, so we have this one. If we go back, we want to make it as a list. You see, we have a list, okay?
Yeah.
We have it as a list, but it's not populating anything yet. Hold a second, maybe it does for compile now. It's already working yet. Why? And we'll see, I will show you later on how you make this one to work. Okay? When you click on compiler and Tebe, each one of them, this one all will be empty, we didn't put, but compiler we did put, and we don't getting anything. So why? And there is some stuff that we have to do in the view and in JavaScript, and then eventually it will work. I will show that's what we do. Stage number one, we made a table. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that later on. Okay, let's start. Everybody here? Hi, everybody. Mildred. What about the new students? Hello. בסדר, מאמי. מה? לא, הייתי בדיוק, לא בדיוק סיימתי משהו, והייתי התקשר. מה? מה שאת רוצה, מאמי? תגידי, באיזה שעה לצאת מפה? כן, כן. אז רגע, באיזה שעה את יוצאת? אוקיי, 6? להיות אצלך? אז אני אצא מפה ב5. אני אצא מפה לפני אפילו, 5, רבע ל5. כן, עד שאני אלך ועד שאני חוזר אלייך, אל תשכחי, יש לי הלוך חזור. יאללה, ביי מוטי. בסדר, נתקשר אלייך מחנוך אני אתקשר אלייך. בסדר, ביי מותק, ביי. מה השם של הבית ספר? מה השם של הבית ספר? שקד, שקד. משה סנה, בית ספר שקד, 100%, יאללה, ביי מותק, ביי. אוקיי. How everyone? Show you, let me see your video. Let me see you guys. Where is everyone? Here's Mildred, here's Jonathan, my favorite student. And here's Brenda talking to me on the phone. And I'm not having a phone. Who else is there? Michael is there. Who else? Say hi, Brenda. Where's everyone? Hi, guys. Don't see you. Oh, now I see you guys. Can you see me, guys? Okay, here I see Belinda. Where's Patricia? Jonathan, I can't hear you. Say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
You said a short hi. Can you say it's longer?
Hi.
Good. Now I heard you. Hi, Festio. What is Mark? I think Mark from Lira. Is he joining us?
Yes.
He's supposed to join us in a moment.
Okay, wonderful. Fezio, how are you? Let me see you.
Your friend. Oh, it's not. Mm. So you transferred. Is it fine now?
The line.
You don't receive any missed calls from him from this other line.
Belinda, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
You're catching up? You're learning very well?
Yes.
Who is helping you?
Brenda.
Is she good?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, I know she's good. Here's Patricia. How are you, Patricia?
I'm fine.
How is Daniel?
He's okay.
Is he helping you? Who is helping you? I forgot.
Daniel.
Yeah, I know. He's one of the best,
Yeah.
isn't it? Where's Daniel? He's hiding behind Mildred. Daniel, I see you very small.
Distance.
I should take a picture of the three of you. You look so nice. I see Jonathan, but you are frozen. Your camera, now it's changing a little bit. Can you see us, Daniel?
Yes, I can see.
Excellent. Fezio, I think we lost Fezio for some reason. Maybe he has a connection problem.
Yeah, some connection problem. He'll be back.
Yeah. Okay, the one thing is I was talking to Michael. The next few days, hopefully, we really want to work very hard on these Uganda towns for two reasons. By one day when you really know how it works, you got to a really nice level. by the end of certificate 3, I would like to see you not only know how it works, but also adding new stuff that I even thought didn't teach you. That's the level you're supposed to get to. There's a lot of stuff in it, from the database to Django, Python, to JavaScript, to Ajax, the way it works as an Ajax. Very sophisticated, extremely sophisticated. And the only way you can get to this level is just by combining so many technologies and being good in all of them. Moreover, one thing that Michael Meck, write it down and let's see who would like to do that or be the leader. I call it a design. See, I'm a colorblind. I never can be in a design. You know, when I used to go to New York, to my customer in New York, they told me one day, well, we noticed you got married. And I said, how do you notice? He said, finally, your clothes are matching because my wife is putting the clothes for me. And I couldn't match clothes because I'm a colorblind. So, and so one of you supposed to be expert on design. Designing a page like that is so crucial. Eventually, it's like a woman. You know, you look at a nice woman, she could be beautiful, but she doesn't dress nicely. You don't know how beautiful she is. After all, you do look at the way she dressed. It's important, okay? Like everybody else in life. And by the way, if you notice, I changed this one. My son told me. I put like, it's really made of 3 boxes, okay?
That's right.
And now I
Previously,
changed
the
it.
line
I
as
didn't
well.
change the 3 boxes. The 3 boxes still there, but I put them the same color. And my son told me it looks much better. Okay. But and the truth of the matter, in the bottom here, it's the development computer. So if you go and look at that in Uganda town on the server, you will see in the bottom, I put it darker blue. And my son said, it looks much nicer. I agree with him, although I'm a colorblind, so I don't really know, you
It
know?
does. It really does.
So one of you or 2 of you really should get 1 point to be expert on designing web pages, because designing a web page is really a professional. And maybe one day we'll even teach a course on web design. And web design could be for the public, and it could be also for managerial reasons. And one day when we get to a point, you take a course in business intelligence, you do it for management. Usually this is a course from a master degree in business or computer science, okay? And could be a professional. So by the way, if you see, this is the line here. You see that there's a line here.
Yeah.
One thing that and this is really for every one of you guys. We started now the Django and you are in certificate 1. Okay, I always will start with this project, by the way, for the both groups, because this is really supposed to be the next 2 to 3 months, your baby. You're supposed to get to a point, you start getting Academy City into Uganda by developing this website, and you guys will run it. That's my dream, to see you guys adding material to it. For example, although has 3 boxes, we will learn in databases, we learn databases. Remember, even certificate 1, remember we learned database?
Yeah.
And I said I will teach you, we haven't got to that yet. In Python, we learn how to make a table in the database. It's coming soon, by the way. And by the way, if you notice, I think this is yellow. Am I right? This is yellow. Which color is that? Or orange? Other links. Do you see the word other links?
What color is that?
Which color is that? I think, anyway, the beautiful part, we can make in the table for every city, when I click Kampala, okay, it will be 1 color. I click for Entebbe, it could be a different color. You see, it's a different color. I don't see it yet, really. Lira could be a different color. By the way, the colors, here we go for Lira, I think this is red, okay? But we can put anything as changing the way the looks of the website by changing the colors. And the right place to do it, it's in the database. The database, we can make a whole list of all the colors of the web page of the town. So we can make a table of colors, a color for the left contact. And then this one could be one color. Maybe we'll put the same color if somebody like it that way. Some people would say, if you look at the Apache website, if you look at their website, in the bottom part, you see they have two colors. So if I want to make it for Apache, exactly like the web page, you know, the line here, I don't know which color it is. It looks like red or something. There's a line here. I can make this one color, this one color, this one color. Another city, they will say, no, we like a different color. Is that right? You don't have to change the whole programming. You just go to the database and you say this part, you just change the colors and the website automatically change automatically. So for certificate one, this is really tells you how important database is, because eventually you can put everything in the database. From design point of view, it will change everything. The look will be nice. And other things, by the way, can we make the menu? You see, this is, I put a black. My daughter told me it looks nice. I don't know. You know, as I said, I'm a colorblind. Okay, maybe a Lira would like this one, I don't know, to be in light blue, and in Antebe, for some reason, they like dark blue. I don't know. So we can put a variable in the database that when I click on Antebe, even the menu color will change. It will look totally different website to some extent, okay? By the way, if you notice this site, this part, I don't know which one I put, I think in Apache, maybe I put some, yeah, I put messages. You see the messages going up, okay? If I were, for all of them, we can make them the same things. For every city, we put the data in a database. I can change the color for every city. I can even put the background of this segment, could be even a background picture, and it will be floating over the picture. Everybody got it? So in the table of colors, we can even put an image, and the image will be automatically jumping into this block and will have a different image for every city. That's beautiful. Everybody got the idea? Belinda, you with me? Where's
Yes.
Belinda? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah? Does that make sense, Belinda? Why we need database? Because in the database, we can put almost everything in here. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Look at the, even this one, by the way. You see the picture here? The picture here? We put it in a
Logo.
database for the town. Let's look at it, okay? So at least it's really introductions to what we're going to study in certificate one. Let's go into Uganda towns and look at it, okay? I go into admin and let's look at the tables. By the way, this is the way the tables looks like. You contact to the tables. So we have Uganda towns, and one of the tables is towns. We click here. Whoever put the data in already familiar with this table. We have Kampala. Let's click on Kampala. And here is all the fields of Kampala. And by the way, we have a special field to put the image. You see that? Let's go to Apache so you can see the same image really there. So everything we can really put in a database, and that can affect eventually, here we go. If you see in Apache, this is exactly their logo. This is in a table. And when I make we get there. When you get to certificate 2, and with you guys, I would go over, when you go into here, when I click on a patch, it's automatically put the logo here. When I go to Antebe, it will take the logo of Antebe. What does it take the logo for Antebe? It takes it from the same table. Let's go to Antebe. I uploaded an image for his logo. Does that make sense, guys? Belinda, does that make sense?
Yes.
So we see the link between the database and the way it's eventually look in the website. Patricia, you with us?
Yes.
Beautiful. Here we go. Let me ask you a question, Patricia. Don't be afraid. See, I made another place. I put a picture. In fact, I didn't really know how to use it yet. By the way, this is a picture that I can make automatically if I want. Depends on how I want to work. I can make that the first page here, the first picture will be like I put the logo here.
Yeah.
I can put a big picture here and I keep it in a database. You got it? And then when I go to another city, let's go to Apache. Instead of having this picture, I have only one picture all along, depending how I design the web page. Moreover, if I want to put 5 or 6 pictures, I can make this table, I can put a place 5 fields and I put 5 pictures and every city will have 5 pictures for the main page, depending how I want to design it. So we have a lot of power because we designing web pages with databases. You know, you hear about, you probably will see online, the advertising companies like Wix. You probably have heard a web design Wix that you can
Yes.
use and design your own web page. The problem there, you don't really have a database and you only have their template and you put everything in the template. It's not dynamic as we do it. Okay, doing a web page like the one that we're doing, you really have to use a database. So the reason I'm emphasizing it, it's the importance of a database. Moreover, one last thing, I was showing Michael and I will show all of you. See, I put a mouse on directors. I get here, if you see here, I get, it doesn't like me, I know that. I get here, I put the mouse on here, I get a list. Where is this list coming from? Also from a database. It really is for Lira, for Apache. If we go to Antebe, I don't know if I put the data for Antebe. No, I didn't put, but I put projects. Okay, they have 3 projects, by the way, if you look.
Yes.
You see, they have 3 projects. This one is empty. In fact, it's empty on their website, so I couldn't find anything. But if you go into this one, this is like I took from their website. Okay, it's also a database. Everything is a database. That's the power of using a true database, professional database online. Okay, now let's see what we're going to do today. By the way, that's just emphasizing, and I want to link everything we study. I will show you how we're using it in here and how we use it in Academy City. A first table, by the way, it's a table of towns. Everybody sees that? Tables of towns. And for every town, we can have several tables and we get to them. But I have to have a table. I put every town I put in a table. Gulu, all of them. If I go online, you can see the tables of, let's go back. For every city, we have a row. It's a table. This is really the list of all. By the way, you can tell that here we didn't put the mayor name, we didn't put the town clerks. We'll fill it up later on. Not yet. We'll get there. Okay? But we have all those cities, and that's why we see them in that list. In that list. It's coming really, this one, this list, it's coming from there. we will learn in the future how the search engine, this is JavaScript. If I type here AP, it will sort only cities. That's called a search field. It can shrink the list. If I'm looking for Entebbe and I don't want to look, I can just type Entebbe E. It gives me all the cities that have an E in their name. If I want Lira, I can just type Lira, L, and I see Lira right there. Everybody got it? That's what we'll learn later on, how you do a search with a database. In fact, it's really simpler than that. Okay, let's start today, continue where we stopped for certificate one. By the way, did you have a chance to watch the videos?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it hard?
Not really.
Good. Who said it? Who said it's not hard? That's good. I'm happy to hear that. Who,
That's-
Patricia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for you. Happy to hear that. Very good. You know, it's like everything's in life, like cooking. Cooking is really hard, but if you cook several years, then it becomes to be a really good cook. Something's here. You just repeat watching the videos, exercising, and then it gets easier and easier. So I'm gonna click here, and I am going into just to see the videos. And our videos are in Django. We got already, fortunately, we got to the framework, and we're going here. So we really kind of, most of the video number one, I think we covered. Is that right, Patricia?
Yeah, we covered.
Good. How about video number two? Let's see what that material in number two. And of course, I'm going to teach it slightly different, but let's see the topics. What is that, Patricia? This is how you make a table. As I said today, we'll cover the issues of tables, but fortunately, we have so many more examples than we had last semester when the first group studied. So here, that I want you to work with your mentor, the one that you're studying from the first group.
Right
Okay,
now,
but
we
I will
are,
show you more examples.
right
Okay?
now we're seeing your account page.
You don't see my screen?
Yes, we are not seeing your screen.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's happened to me yesterday as well. I don't know why. Hold a second. I'm trying to stop share. Resume share. Do you see it now?
Right now, we are seeing your video.
So it doesn't, it kind of looks like it's frozen. Hold a second. Yeah, I think it's kind of frozen. Sorry about it. Let me see if I can work it up. So the Zoom is getting crazy sometimes. Yeah, here we go. It's showing me sharing, stop sharing, but hold a second. Tell me if you see it now.
We see it now.
Okay, wonderful. I
Django
think
two.
there is, when the Zoom is working, it's shutting down almost everything else. Anyway, here, did it go away or you still see my screen?
We are now seeing the Django 2 video. I think this is the screen.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay,
It's okay.
good. So, by the way, here, that's the way we define a, a table in Django. Remember, we said the session number 1 or 2, we learn about tables. This is the way we study how we do a table in the database from within Python/Django. In any application, if you look at yours, you have the trades project. Under the trade, you have applications. And here we look at one of the application called to do. And in the to do, in fact, we already have only one table. In the models, okay, in the models, we have one table. We call the table item. By the way, this is called inheritance. Remember from the session on Python. If you remember the animals that I made, a cat and a dog and a human, they are all inheriting from the animal. Here, Django have made a class called model. They put it in a package called models. So we're inheriting from this model and we're making a new class called item. So we're going to have a table in the database called item. We're going to have 2 columns. The truth of the matter, it's not really 2 columns, it's 3 columns. Anybody want to say why is it 3 columns and not only 2, although I'm only defining 2? You're automatically adding another column. Which column is automatically adding?
So the ID.
The ID, beautiful. The primary key. Every table in Django, it automatically knows if you didn't define primary key, then you will automatically add it. Okay? I'm going to show you a lot of examples in addition to the one that I showed in the video. But this is a good example how we make very simple table, almost nothing in it. And I will show you some more sophisticated one in a minute. Okay? Let's move on. Here, let me move more. This one, in fact, we have really have, if you look at this one, we have more sophisticated, no, this one I don't want to go over. I don't want to go over. No, this is, I don't want to go over all of those. Okay, I'll skip that part for a reason. Okay, this is just to remind you, as I said before, the inheritance we had, it's similar to the example I worked with you on in the animal. The cat inheriting from the animal. We had a later on human inherit also from animal. Some things in the model, okay? Here, we are inheriting from a model, which is a class, like the animal, okay? But we put it in a different page. That's the only reason we're using models.model. But it really is like the animal, and the item is like the cat. And this one is a very smart because Django know how to turn it using Python, and it will make the table automatically for us, okay? And that was really the objective of that part. Let's move on. Okay, how do we create, by the way, after we create a table, what does it mean to create a table? Creating a table, it's sitting in a database, okay? And sitting in a database, that's please, you guys, everyone will sit with his student, please do show them how it looks like in PG admin. How is this table look in PG admin? Fair enough? Not only in PG admin, show that to them how it looks like in the admin, and in a second, I think we will get to that, okay? This is the way it looks like in the PG admin, if you remember. We can opening a table, and you can see tables in the PG admin. Now, by the way, when we make this code, it doesn't create the table yet in the database. It's just the code in Python. The process is two-stage process to turn this code into an actual table. We run a command called Python manage make migrations. Let me see if I can find that command. Here we go. We write Python manage make migrations. This one, the command here, the objective of this command, it's to take the objects from Python and write the code on a different language called SQL. I mentioned that briefly in the database sessions that when you really deal with the database, you need to learn another language called SQL. Fortunately, it was more correct to say it's 5, 6 years ago. Now it's less because Python knows how to do it automatically for you. So the Python manage make migration is writing, see, this is the code of SQL. He's automatically creating it. And after he's creating it, there's another command that is actually, okay, is actually taking this one and running it to the server, which means, here we go, that's the second one, Python manage migrate. Fair enough? Okay, this one actually run a Python command that are smart enough to take the SQL that we created with Make migrations. Then we had the SQL code, and this command take it and run it to the database. So bottom line, we write a class of a table, then we run Python manage make migration, it turns it to SQL command. And then when we run Python manage migrate is actually creating the table in the database. And the database that we use, it's Postgres. Postgres is a database. So this is an actual program. It's managing tables. So when we write the migrate, is actually creating for us a table with 3 columns. And please, the student that leading the other student, show it to the student, and I'm going to show it in a different example. Okay? So they will have more example as we go along. Fair enough? And that's really what I want you guys to show them, play with that a little bit. Okay. Then, okay, all it's beautiful. So bottom line, but how do I use it? And if you see in your, when you're opening the PyCharm and you run server, you open this one and you click on to do program, you get to this program. This is the screen. This is such an important screen that is the basis for all web applications. This is really, you can tell almost everything conceptually works the same. We have a place we can type something. We can click submit. This one goes to the database. It put it in the database and then refresh itself. What does it mean, refresh? It's like you turn that off. It does it so fast you don't even see it. Is reading all the record. Record means the rows in the table. Bring them back and put them in the bottom here. So let's see, in fact, we have examples here, and please do work with your students. Show those examples. I'm going to show it in a different way. You see here the tables. You see we have a text, we have date posted, and we have ID. Only things that we really care about, it's this one and the date. Those are the only 2 columns we made, text and date posted. By the way, whoever have a good eye, the way we define that, the way we define the text, it's really any size. I didn't specify how much I can type, but the other one, it's a special one. It says date field. It's like, it's going to create a special column that it will be the date. Moreover, I don't have to fill it up. What does it mean I don't have to fill it up? I only have to fill up the column of the text. The database automatically, that's what we say, auto now, when I put the text in the column, I just put the text, it automatically put the date of that day and the time, okay? That's why we use the date field. It's important. That date field, it's specially for date, and the text, it's for text, okay? I hope that's clear. I'm gonna use really my time to show you more sophisticated examples. But this one, please do go with, okay, I will skip this one. I will let you guys do it together. And I'm going to jump to show more sophisticated examples, okay? By the way, this is really, I think I showed some application to machine learning. And do please go and do that. You have it in your, I don't know, I don't think you have that one. You can skip that. I will give another example in a second, okay? More advanced than this one. Okay, let me
All right.
close this. So please do go over this one together until Wednesday. And Wednesday, just tell me that you did watch this video and start a little bit the second one. Focus on this one this week.
And the models video.
And I'm going to give more examples
By
now.
Wednesday, yeah,
And this one,
everyone
get
should be
ready for Wednesday. I will start templates.
second video.
But please, now I'm going to spend the time giving more examples. But before that, is everybody got the idea?
Yes.
Fezio, are you okay?
Is that have you gotten the idea?
Fezio?
Yes, I'm okay.
Beautiful. You got the idea. Now I'm going to give a lot of examples. And also, please do work together, watch the video together, everyone with his mentor. That's really a good video, well done, and has the basic stuff. And I'm going to give even more examples right now. Okay? Let's go to real life example. And as I said, one of my objective in the next 2-3 months that both group would be expert on this website. Of Uganda town. So I will be teaching you really this one every time step by step. So as you saw the video, you can see really this video, you learn the basic, and I want to give you more examples. I want to give you more examples on something that's going to stay with you. I'm going to talk about the table on the left. What affect the stuff on the left side? I'm not going to go over the Python yet beside the database. I will focus on that in the next session when we talk about templates. And then, in fact, here it's done more sophisticated. I will talk about the template, but we're doing its combination with Jinja. In fact, this one is done with regular template. Some other stuff done with JavaScript. But how did I get a table? How did I make the table that I put the cities? So let's go into my code. I go into here. And by the way, like you had to do, if you notice, uses trades, and you have application, you have other applications. And then one of the application you have to do. I have application called Uganda Towns, just the same. It really have very similar structure. I'm going to close everything so we don't get confused
Another
with
project, like
the other
a
things that I do. Okay. And in fact, if you look well, you will see the structure is very similar to the to-do application. All the applications are very similar. By the way, if you look at, by the way, I have another one that I deal with, the courses. When you study the courses in Academy City, I manage the whole courses right here. The structure, very similar if you look. If you have good eyes, you see I have migrations. I have also here migrations. Okay, templates. I have also here templates. By the way, I have static. It's for a different reason. Okay, so I use, but we'll get to statics. Don't worry. That's I can put it in any application. I didn't really needed it for the Ugandas yet. I put it in a different place. But templates, it's all of them. I have admin. We have admin right here too. You see that? I have apps. I have here apps too. So all applications are really have very similar structure. And I wanted to open a website. In addition to the website that I manage my courses, I'm making a web page, which is very sophisticated inside Academy City, but it's a complete web page. By the way, this is really a complete web page. This is really a complete, and I can add stuff. One thing I need it's a table of cities. So how did I make the table of the cities? We have a module called models, just like in To-Do. Remember when I did the items, it was in the models. Let's double click on it. This is, by the way, mine is much bigger. And one day you'll get used to that and you don't get scared. I'm going to go over the towns. Don't ignore this part, by the way. This one you didn't see yet in the example. Let's ignore it. But let's look at the other ones. Let's look at the first row. It's the same. I have models, model. The only things, here I call it towns. In the To-Do application that you have, you call it items because you're going to put items in there. So you're putting items of messages. Okay, you can call it anything you want. Here I decided to call it towns because I'm going to put information about every town in Uganda. Okay, this one, it's more advanced for now. We'll talk about it later on. So let's skip it for now. Okay, let's focus on things that are easy. By the way, if you have a good eye, I didn't put ID or primary key. So this one going to create automatically another column for the primary key as for the item table you guys have. The rest are very similar. Let me go over all the types of columns. I have much more columns. You only have only two. See, I have a lot and I have some functions here, which I haven't told you, but I'm not going to focus on that now. I will come back to them when we study the view and we study the logical layer because it works very well with it. For now, let's ignore that part as well. Let's only focus on the columns. I have many columns. One column is the order, okay? And this is takes only whole numbers, integers, okay? Orders is only integers. By the way, let's open it up here. I will show you that table. I want to show you, by the way, this table of the cities. By the way organizing it here, by the way, when you go with admin, you get to this screen. Also on your project, you will have a project called Cert, and you'll see all the tables there. You will have an application called To-Do, and the To-Do, you will see the item table. Here, I have a table called Towns. You see, I have a table called Towns. I click on it. In fact, everything is here. I defined here. This is really the towns. This is really why I have that table in the database. Okay, I have an order. Let's see the order. Oh yeah, I do have an order. You see 1, 2, 3. It's only complete numbers. You can't have 1.2 or 1.3. It will not be. It won't allow you. Okay, so why it doesn't allow me? Because I defined that column to be an integer field. Integer is a whole number. By the way, if I don't type anything, it'll put the number 1,000 automatically. Let's do it and see how it does it. Let's click Add Town. Oh, the whole screen open. You see, the first one, it's order. It put automatically 1,000. Why put 1,000? Because I defined the default to be 1,000. So you automatically know, oh, you know what? Don't bother typing. I know you might want 1,000. The reason I put it, if you forget about putting a number, I will put it at the end. So, and usually you will go and change it, okay? So I'm going to change it to number 5. Which city we don't have, by the way? We didn't put there. Which city do you like? Aurora. How do you spell Aurora? Aurora? How do you spell it, by the way?
A-R-U.
Aurora. Did I put it in already? Maybe I did.
It's already there.
Another city, Soroti. Let's put Soroti. I don't think I put Soroti in
It's
my
there.
computer.
Soroti is there.
No, it's in the, yeah, it's there. No, hold a second. Let me open that one again. And open again so I will know.
Let's
1,
try
2, 3.
Kumi maybe.
Here we go. I just want to make sure on my computer, yeah? Not on the Amazon, the one that you see online. This is on my computer. I don't have Soroti. So I'm going to add Soroti on my computer as well. So I'm going to add Soroti. A, how, what is town, why do I have a field so town name? Let's look at the definition of the table. By the way, you have a town name, you see that?
Yeah.
You see? It's a character field. In a character field, I can type any name I want. I can put even numbers, anything I want. I can put Chinese, I can put English, Hebrew, Arabic, any language, by the way. Okay, because this database supporting all languages, but I
Help one
cannot
see.
put more than 50 characters. That's why I put maximum lengths. And I don't think there's any town in Uganda that has more than 50 characters. Okay. Then I said, okay, the name of the mayor. And then I put the name of the town clerk. So I can put the names of those one. I will have a place. I should have a place for them as well. So here we go. So I don't know the name of the Sorority mayor. I'll just write mayor just for the sorority because I don't really know the name. And just for, and here I will write town clerk, sorority, just for the example. And then I have another field called active. By the way, not all the columns I defined here, you see them. Created date, update date, you don't see them. Why? I will explain in a minute. Okay? We'll get to that. I'll explain why you don't see them. Usually you don't really care. It's automatically created. How do you know it's created automatically, by the way? Created date, it's the day I'm filling the data into the database. And it automatically put the date of now. Add. When I'm adding a new row, that will be the date. By the way, it automatically will put also the date in the updated date column. But every time I will make a change, for example, I typed here wrong mayor name. If I come back to here and I will change this to the right name, the date on this column will change automatically. That is the auto now. Auto now change every time I make a change in the row. This one only one time when I create the row, it will put the date. This, the second column, it's every time I make a change. By the way, that could be really nice if you really want to see history of how, when mayors have changed or when anything's mayor or town clerk change or anything. But less crucial, and I won't get into that for now. That's for more advanced discussion. The other one, it's important, it's active. Is this CD is active or not? I can use it because if I want to, let's say in my list, I put all the CDs, but for some reason I don't want to put any CD, specific CD. I can make the program that it will check if the CD is active or not. If it's active, it will show it. If it's not active, it will not show it. So it's very important field many times to add. By the way, students in Academy City, I have also active field. It shows if it's active or not. And here, please see the type of a field. It's called null Boolean field. Means that it is really putting yes, no. This is only accepting yes, no. Okay? In fact, it can be also nothing. I don't really know. You know, it's like three options. Yes, no, and I don't know. That's why it has null. But if I put only Boolean field, it would be only yes or no. It won't have those three options. Sometimes it's useful, and that's a very common field that we use many times. The next
Yeah.
one is the hardest one. It's for advanced topic. I won't cover it here. This field I cover usually in Django CMS. That's when you get toward the end of certificate 3. Okay, and I will show you how we'll use it. Okay, but I'm not going to go into that. It's a really hard topic, but just know that there exists a special field called placeholder. I just show you the usage of it. Why do we use it? By the way, if you see here the picture, when I do edit and I go to here and double click, it's really putting it in that field. That's why I said it's really belong to Django CMS. not the regular Django. So that's why I won't spend too much time on that for now. Just know that this is beautiful example how you can add a whole huge, this is looks such a simple line and it's so powerful. By the way, I can put 2 columns or 3 columns. Then I can have several places on the page, I can edit them. And that makes it very special. Okay, but that's for a different course. The next one is for this course. It's image and logo. See those, both of them, I put pictures. Pictures can take a special field. If you look at here, it's called filer image field. Filer, by the way, it's a special package in Django, written in Python, which help us to manage images. And we will get to that when we make images and how we present them. We'll get there, don't worry, okay? Whoever took certificate 2 saw how we manage, how we size it and into the page. But the beauty here, I can make a special column for pictures, okay? Image and logo. How do I see it here? Let's go back here. And by the way, here it is. This is the image. This one, it is for the image field, and this is for the logo. When I click here, it's smart enough. I can pick up a picture. I won't get into that, but I can put a picture. I can put here a logo. I can put up a logo. That's the way I did it for the other cities. Let's say Soroti. Let's see if we can find the web page. Do they have a Soroti? Do they have a do they have a web page, by the way?
I think they have the other general web page.
Yeah, let's see web page.
OUG, something like that.
Web page. Let's see, what do we see here?
Around
Let's see
there.
if we can find Soroti.
Yeah, it's that first one.
Is that it?
Yes, it's that one.
Yeah, okay, let's see. Let's see if I can download their picture so I can show it to you. Okay, here we go. This is cool. By the way, do you see they are all using very similar design, okay? And they're putting stuff in different ways. And we can really mimic this web page in a second, very fast to make very similar web page and maintain it much nicer and faster, okay? If you notice, they have this kind of a list. And by the way, they are different than Apache, and each one of them, and frankly, you can really make them all similar, and there's no need for each one of them. By the way, this is at least more manageable. They're losing all the space on the right and to the left, useless, but I just wanted to, they don't have a logo. Okay, I don't know why, but let's say this was their logo. By the way, if I do right click, save image as, I will just keep it. I have a place that usually I keep. Okay, let's make Soroti here. I'll make a new Soroti, I will call it. I make a directory right under my downs, and I'll just call it, here we go. I usually don't keep it as a peg. I usually put it as a JPEG. This takes less space and the quality is quite good. It takes less space on the computer. I save it. And now I want to go and put it on our website. So I can go into the logo. I will click here. And by the way, I have here many kinds, and I usually, that's also, this is Django CMS. So I'm not going to cover it. I just want to show you an example. By the way, this is Django. I apologize. This is, you should know. There's no Django CMS. This is Django. If I click, I will make a new folder to keep the picture for Soroti. I make a directory, so I keep all my pictures organized. Okay? Yeah, I made a mistake. I shouldn't really do it here. I should go into, I should make it under Uganda town, work in organized way. Since it's my computer, I left on the Academy City website, I'm very careful. So I can make a new folder for Soroti. So, I hope I spelled it right. So let's say, I think this is the way it should be spelled. Save it. Now I have a directory, I can go in. In fact, a good habit is to be very specific. I can write here man page. And then all the images I need for the man page, I will put them here. So I won't get lost. It's easy to get lost. Now I click upload in file. I will go to my downloads where we downloaded the images. Here we go, Uganda Towns, Soroti. And here is their logo. By the way, now when I click here, it put the logo right here. Everybody see that? Whatever it is, I don't know what I uploaded. It's going to be there in a second after I said, what's the address of Sorority? Let's see if we can find. I probably have it in the bottom. It's usually common to put. I don't see it here. By the way, it's very common to put it here. It's not there. You see that?
It's not there.
It's very common in a good web. That's what we talked about web design. Very common to put the address in the bottom. If you go to Kampala website, go down, our address, you see that?
Yeah.
By the way, you see the contact us,
This just happened right now.
they have all that stuff,
So this
and they
day
have it here. You see that?
well,
They have email, they have, you can put, you can put those stuff and they have all, by the way, this is a very good design. You can tell in Kampala, they have spent a lot of time and did excellent job. In a minute, I will show you the way I did it for Kampala. If you go to, let's go to, what did I do? Kampala, no, this is not the right one. Let's go to the one I did for, let's go to Uganda Towns. This is really on Academy City. If I go to Kampala, by the way, if you scroll down, this is the way I did it. You see contact, you have their address, you have their telephone, you have their image. And by the way, when you put the mouse on Facebook, if you look carefully, you see it's linked. If I click on it, it will open their Facebook. I already did it exactly like they did. Look at theirs. And we will learn how you do it. Okay? If you look at the Kampala, where is Kampala?
The first one.
This one, I think this one. Look at that one. Kampala put it here. When you click here, it goes also to the Facebook. You see that? I did the same things for them. But what the difference between our website to their website? That they did it only for Kampala. We want to do it when we click a patch and we go down, we get the same things. And when you click here, we want it to go to the Facebook of Apache. The only problem is we don't know really what the Facebook of Apache they might even don't have. And we can establish for them. And I will teach you how you make it so it will go for Apache. And the only things you have to put there in a minute, I will show you why I put it for Kampala. When you see, when I click Kampala and go down, when you put the mouse, it says in the end, it says Facebook KCCAUG. And how did I put it? Where did I put it? And that's the beautiful thing. So you put it, we have beside the address, you see this is, I won't really fill the whole things for sorority. I just will show you. Here I'm supposed to put their email and everything's Gmail. I'm just making it up, .com. And by the way, their phone, okay, everything. And look at that, media ticker. For Kampala, I put the KCCAUG. And he automatically knows how to put it in the bottom here. When I go to Kampala, it will put it here. By the way, let's make it up for sorority. Let's say sorority, we build up for the media, and we call it sorority. Fair enough?
Yeah.
By the way, this is also to show you I can add colors. Bottom info color. This is just for demonstration, and we can expand, add more field for colors. If you look at the website,
Meaning colors.
here in the middle, you see that? I want, when I see sorority here, when I click, I would like the color to be, I want the color to be yellow. Yellow, it's easy for me to see, but you can put any color you want. I'm saving it. What's going to happen now? I have
Say it will
5
in
cities.
the next certificate.
Let's go to my web page. Where it is. Okay, let's go to the web page. What happened if I refresh it? Anybody wants to guess? What do you think will happen?
The
What do you think,
bottom
guys?
area will change.
What will happen if I refresh the page? Let's refresh.
When you refresh.
Where is sorority? I don't see sorority.
It's like what will happen when you refresh.
Why I don't see sorority?
Give me the answer.
Anybody wants to guess why I don't see sorority?
Don't even never told me.
Why I don't see sorority?
And they just tell me that they tell you.
Let's go back to sorority. What did we miss? Anybody see what did I miss? I put the order, I put the town, I put the mail, I put the town clerk. Hey, this is no.
Active, yeah.
I put yes. Hey. Now let's save it. By the way, in the code, we will learn that it will, how you do it, okay? For now, in the database, we learn about this field called, what is the, is it here? No. I have so many, yeah, here we go. Let's refresh now. Ah, here's sorority. Let's click on sorority. That's nice. You see, we got their logo, the Truth of the Matter, they have their logo so small, we have to play with it. Okay? Hey, by the way, it's a yellow. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's the color I chose. When I go into the media, I put the mouse. What happened? Do you notice it says Facebook /
Yes,
sorority in
below,
the bottom?
at the corner.
Yes.
If I click on it, it
Okay.
opens a new page, but I see a Facebook. I need to log in. Let's say I log in. But is the sorority really has a Facebook? I don't remember my password. Okay, my son probably know it.
It
Let's
doesn't
forget.
have.
Okay, do they or they don't?
They don't.
Oh, so we as a consultant would like to tell them, we think it will be good for you to have a media, and you really should have people to know about you in Facebook, Twitter,
Very low.
YouTube, if you want to upload videos so people can see your channels. You know, the cities are growing. As time goes by, take my word for it. They all will have Instagram, etc. Everything's Flickr. Everything, they will have those ones like Kampala did. In Kampala, if you go, they have all of them.
Yes.
And they did it smart. They're very smart. If you notice, in all of them, they use KCCAUG. This is very smart. You can tell they have a really good consultant for Kampala.
Like they transferred some.
Okay, so all towns should really have the same. For us, as a software engineers, we really care about the fact that in the database we added that we have a field in which we can put the media, ticker, and we advise the city to have, let's say, sorority, tell them in all your media, try to use the same one. And whatever it is, then you'll be consistent, works nice, and fully integrated to your webpage. Okay? I hope this is useful. One thing, and with that we finish for today. It's one file. You know, when I define, hold on a second. I skip that for intentionally. You're not ready for this part yet, and you're not ready for this part yet. I will talk about it some other time. Okay? Fair enough? We'll talk about those ones some other time. Slug, you're not ready for slug either. The colors you already know. The photo, email, all of that are really simple type of fields, so there's nothing to talk about. They're all characters. Okay, so there's nothing to talk. Those one we talk in the future, they are extremely important, but we're not ready yet for them.
We'll
to talk.
explain that
But
next year.
we do ready for something else. You cannot, let me go to this file called admin. I'm going to delete something and see what happened. I'm going to delete this part for my code. I'm going to go back. I'm restarting the server. I go back to here and I want to go to Uganda towns. Look at that. We have the table. Hey, why is the table towns? It's disappeared. You see that? Why this appear? Because I deleted that code. This code, it's what put it there in the list. I made a mistake. I had when I make that mistake there. Okay, I'm supposed to, okay. I will have to restart it with a different number now. You know what, let me restart my exit. I will get back to that in 1 sec. Okay. I just don't want to start with a different port. Anyway, this is really what makes it to look on the list. Now, if I refresh it, you will see the town again. See, the town is down here. It's right there. The reason it's there is because I put this code. By the way, you don't have to be a genius, okay? Many times I copy for myself, as I said, and whoever know me, I always do it once. When it works beautifully, I will copy for myself. When I do the next table, usually I copy this one and do the same things. You see that this one is very similar. Small changes. Two things is very important. One, I define an object, and one, I have a registration. This is a standard. This is the name of the table, and this is the name of this object. This is a standard. Again, this is the name of the table, and this is the name of this class. Same things about another table. I have a projects table. This is the table. This is this object I create. How do you create it? We'll talk about it in future classes. This one is more sophisticated, by the way. If you remember, I had a special field placeholder. You're most likely not going to use it for now. You most likely use something similar, simpler, something like this one. No, this one it has a place, something like this one. This is a simpler one. This is most likely you use. You want to use this function, it's advanced topic. We'll talk about it in the future. Has to do with the slug. Okay, we didn't talk about it, but this is really the important things. I have a table called town staff. This is I'm building up to make the list of all the people working for the town. Okay, very simple. This line is very simple. It's the name of the table and the same name I give here. So that's a no-brainer. This is the only thing that's important. I'm making class. I can give it any name, but I always give it the name of the table and the word admin. Inside, it's always admin.model admin. You don't have to think twice. Very simple. This is a little important. Here I put the name of the field I want to show in here. When I click, let's say I click, let's see, what is that? Town staff. Okay, I don't have anything here. So let's take another example. Let's take the town. Let's go to the town. You see, I have several columns here. Which columns do I see? They are the columns that I specify for the town. So for the town, I specify town name, order, mayor, town clerk. I will see only those columns. Although I specify in the model many columns, pictures, logo, active. I don't really want to see it. It's not interesting me. So I only thought, for me, it's more convenient to see only those 4 columns. If I wanted to see if it's active or not, I could have added the word active, for example. I can add it to here, to the end, and I can see if this is active or not. If it's interest to me, maybe yes, By the way, here I edit for let the active. Let's see if I can see the active now. I should see active as well. Let's start the server. Let's go and refresh. I should, and here we go. I do see active column. Okay, that's very important. By the way, how do I remove a CD? Let's move Lira. I don't want to see Lira in the list. I can go to the active, change it to no, save it. And after I save it, what happened in my Lira should disappear. Let's refresh. Lira is gone. Ah, pretty cool. Okay, I think that's enough for today. What do you think, guys? What do you think, Patricia?
Yeah, it's enough for today.
Your brain is exploded?
Yes.
We're exhausted.
Huh?
Yeah, we are kind of exhausted.
I think it's enough for one day. So you do have homework. What is the homework? If is
Guys,
Fezio
remember-
with us? Is Fezio back with us?
Yes, he's with us.
Yeah, here I see him. Hi, Fezio. Can you hear me?
Asking you guys about your homework.
Hopefully his link is okay.
We watch
Fezio,
one.
can you hear us?
It's up to you.
Part of Django 3.
Here's Brenda. Brenda, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Which ear do you hear me? The left one or the right one?
All.
So why did you take it out?
Very good. Turn on your video.
And now you hear me with both ears. Okay.
Confirm that you are not a
Okay.
ghost.
I think this is important. We have a real application we're working on when we give examples. And please do go over the second video of Django and watch at least once the third video. So next time when we talk about template will be easier. Fair enough? That's the homework for Wednesday. Thank you guys. We'll take a break for 5 minutes and then we'll resume for the second certificate. Fair enough?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Hi, guys. Anybody home?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Let me see you guys. Here's Jonathan. Jonathan,
Yes.
Jonathan, you going to school?
Yes.
Which class do you like the best?
Form 6.
Which one? I can't hear you. Your microphone is closed.
Form 6.
That's a long course.
Janguan.
You should say the Academy City class. So which class do you like the best, Jonathan?
Academy City.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Good for you. Good, good. One day I want to see you a professor in Academy City. Yeah, why not? You will. Or maybe you'll be the mayor of Kampala. What do you think? Yeah, you should. Or maybe you'll have a company of buying, selling, trading stuff. You know what you should trade with? Like diamonds. Do you like diamonds? Diamond cost a lot of money. All the women will run after you. Now you'll make a lot of money. Diamonds is a lot of money. You just buy and sell. And then you use the software of Academy City to build up how to sell and how to buy and sell diamonds on the internet. What do you think? You know, I have a software like that in Chicago to buy and sell diamonds. I'm serious. I have a company in Chicago for software design for diamonds, buying and selling diamonds. So one day you can do that too. But I will teach you other things as well. Okay, let's start, guys.
All right.
I want to, by the way, last time we looked at you know, the website of Uganda towns, it's a little advanced. So sometimes it's good to look at simpler examples and then we can jump to the advanced one and that will be easier, okay? So let's go and look at the stuff we did. I always forget where I put them. I think it's in the download. Anybody remember where I put the box? I always forget where I put it.
Probably downloads.
In the download, the one that called box something. Yeah, here we go. This one is a very important one. Let's open it here. I will just open it here just for.
No, I didn't. I informed him, but he didn't respond. I don't know what.
There we go. Downloads and boxes. Yeah, here we go. This one we played a little bit, if you remember. Everybody remember? This is a very important example. Yeah, this one we did one time. Remember this example, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember that? Everybody know what it does and everybody remember how it works? Should we review that a little bit?
Yes.
Sure.
Brenda, what do you say?
I saw we review that.
Yeah, here we go. We have some styling stuff, okay? It's like a button, how you make the button. I don't think I used it. Let's see in a minute. We have button 3, button 5, button 8. This is really stuff you should start getting familiar with. This is the CSS. Please do spend some time. By the way, in the exam, I will ask you that. Moreover, I want you to improve the website. So one of your stuff is really to be able to add some nice stuff to the website. You can't do it unless you already learn .css stuff. You have the W3 school, you have a lot. Please do go over it. It's really worth your time and it will stay with you. So I know a lot of them. I don't know everything, but I do know color, border. This button doesn't have any border. I can add border. But even if I don't know, I know that it exists. I go to W3 school and then I said the example. This one, it makes rounded, this makes rounded borders, etc., etc. And by the way, in a minute we'll play with it slightly. But then we have some code in JavaScript. So this is really the way it's structured. We have some styling in the header. Usually you organize it this way, really. Now you want to be a little more, sorry. Usually you'll have it here. In a minute, I will show you another way you can do it. I usually put it in a different place. In a minute, you will see. This is one of the things I will cover today. And then we have a script. And usually the script you put in the bottom of the body. Not necessarily. You can put it also in the header. Okay? So this is really the structure of our page. So let's say I'm looking at a page that I never seen before. I say, okay, I have here the style in the head. It's right in the head, right? And I have the body of the page. And the body inside, I have the HTML. This is all the HTML up to here. I think this is wrong. DT, what is DT? It means we'll see what it is, okay? And then we have the script. So let's look at how it looks like in the page. Okay, I see Amos, I see Daniel, I see a button, and I see some stuff here, and then I see these. Okay, this is probably a special thing. By the way, I never really used it, but you can think about how we can use that in the Uganda towns, if you think we should. Okay, so let's identify every piece here in the code. Stage number one, let's go on the top. I have a div, and the div has ID box. And the ID box, it's really a segment of the code. The BR, everybody should know by now, it's a new line. It's adding a space right after that. It put a space between those Amos and Daniel. Okay, Daniel, it's box number one. 1 second, slowly. Yeah. Okay. Okay. אופק ממי, אני באמצע ההרצאה, אני אוכל לחזור לה? כן, אז אולי בערב, טוב? כל טוב, ביי ביי. Okay, so here we have, Amos is in a separate box. Daniel is in a separate box. We put an ID. That's the way from JavaScript we can identify it. Fair enough? So far, so good?
Yeah.
Good. So here's Amos, here's Daniel. And by the way, you should know it now. If I want to make the box of Amos style, I can use style here. Is that right? Put equal background color red. What it will do? You already know what it will do. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
What it will do?
The background color.
He made Amos in red, the background. How do I change the word color? You should please, I beg you, study those color and be better than me, okay? Okay? You should really be much better than me on being creative and making a nice design. Let's put color white. Now Amos looks in white. This is one way to do it. Another way to do it, I can take this one out of here. And go to the style. And I will make a new style here inside this segment. And see how I do it. I'm going to call it whatever I want. I put a dot box. I'm going to call it box. And then I'm starting with parentheses. I can, by the way, it doesn't really care how do I do it. Usually you put a semicolon and you put this one. Okay, but this one, now the beauty here, I have, many times it's really nice, it's easier to see when you put it like that. By the way, now I want to make Amos and Daniel to have the same style. So I can go here and write class equal box. I can do the same things for Daniel. So Daniel and Amos will have the same style. That's what I did now. Is that right? I put here a new line, so that's will for later on. So let's see if that really works.
Well,
You see, Amos and Daniel, the same style. That's pretty cool. It's very useful. You will see it's very, very useful for clicking or whatever. Okay, that's one way. By the way, sometimes putting all of that here, it's not convenient for programming purposes. When you're done, or even in the middle, let me show you examples from Academy City that I use styles. That's really a beautiful, that's why you have, and how do you use that? Let's go to templates. Let's go to Uganda towns. Let's go to the home. This is the home page. That's the code. What is the style? I don't see the style. You see style?
no,
No, but you do see this one.
yeah,
And in fact, what I did, I created a file called ugandatowns.css. I put all the
understand.
styles there. That's why I put relate style sheet. And all the styles is there. And I call static. That means that I put it in the static file,
Folder,
a folder.
CSS,
You go under CSS, and you can find there's a
and
file
CSS.
called Uganda Town CSS. That's a little more elegant, nice way to put it. Double click on it. Here we go. We have so many styles. I use so many of them. I get lost many times, honestly. Okay? And many times I copy from other places. Here we go. By the way, my menu, this is a style I use. My menu, if we go to the home page, let's see where is my menu. Oh, you see, it's really this
Yeah,
block. What is this block, by the way? This block, it's the left part of the, this is the left part. Here's this left part. Okay? This is really the div. This is a div. This is a div. Okay? And the name of it, how do you know that I'm not lying? I can do right click here, inspect element. It will open up something here. By the way, you can see when you put the mouse on, this is in Ubuntu. Windows, it looks a little different. You put it on the right side. So when I click here, you see I have this div that I just showed you. You see that?
yeah,
And exactly when I put my mouse here, it's showing me this part. So I named it ID my menu, and I use class side nav. Everybody see that? I have ID my menu and a class side nav. Hey, how does it work? So how that works? And by the way, in addition, I have also a style here. You see that? Border one, dotted. By the way, this one, a lot of stuff I can erase. I don't really use. I added scroll. I could have put it there, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to, because I think the side nav I used in other places as well. Okay, so what is really how the style here works? I have an ID and I have a class. And let's look at this one. So here, when I put a hash in the ID, it refers to a specific element. The name of that element, so this is goes only to that segment. By the way, list style type none. By the way, I have no idea what it is. I just copied it from somewhere. Padding, I do know. Padding, it means don't leave anything around inside the box. Margin, it's the space between that box, that div, and the other element surrounding it. So I'm not keeping any space. Okay, but I have also a class. And what the class was, side name. Control F, side name. Let's see if I find it now. Here we go. Here I have side name. Okay, by the way, look at that one. I put the height is 100%, so it takes the whole page. The width, 160 px. This is really the width of this page, of this part. By the way, if I want to hide it, how can I hide it, by the way? It will be there, but nobody will see it. How can I do it? It looks stupid question, but you have no idea how important this question is. How about if I put a 0 here? That means the width is 0, so you won't see it. Is that right? Is that right, Brenda?
Yes, that's right.
You know, I tell my wife, I wish I would be a 0 size. That means I lost weight, yeah? So you would see it much smaller, okay? So I made it 0 width. You don't see the person, you don't see the width. So let's see if that really works. By the way, you have to start the server when you change this, because I put it as a separate file. It has to upload the static files. Otherwise, you will use the old one, and many times it has a caching, which is annoying. Let me run it. Refresh. It is caching. Hold a second. No, where I am is caching the old one. It's caching, and I hate when it does it. Hold a second. Where is it? Side nav. I put a 0. That's true. It should. Yeah, that should do it. Hey, how about we delete the whole things? Then we know that it is reacting at least. It's not reacting. No, it's not. It's caching, which I hate it. I don't want to play with it. Control V. Usually sometimes what I do, I just close everything. Sometimes it's nice to me. And then he allows me to do it. And then I restart the server. Hold a second, I see it's again here. How come it's there? Control Z. And this is with the A. Yeah, I want to put it with this one. Let's put this one 50, so it will be, or 20, so it will be a small size. Position fixed, I will explain in a minute. Okay, let's see if now it would be nice. No, it didn't like me. Okay, I give up. In a minute, I will show you why it's important. Control Z. Maybe I will, you know what I will do? Yeah, I don't want to give up on that one. It's important that you see it. So let me close everything. Close here. Close it in this one. This one I can keep. And let's go back. Let's see, I will refresh it. Now it might be nice. And let's click on it. Why it doesn't open? It should open. Okay, I put Uganda. And here we go. You see? You don't see it. It was caching. Many times it cache. PyCharm has the caching, so it's not refreshing itself. And if I want to get it back, The only way I can get it back is go back to here, change it to 160 as it was. Why 160? I noticed that this is enough. Okay, I put the height. Let's see if it'll bring it back. Now, why did I give it as an example, by the way? Who can tell me why it was so important? Oh, it's back, you see? Look at the trick. You see this the little buttons here?
Yes,
When I click on it, what happened?
it takes time.
No, it should close it. Okay, now it doesn't react. Let's refresh. It should act. It will act now. You will see. I have to get out of there's a reason the way is, I have to get out of the admin. Now it should work. It doesn't like me. Compiler. It doesn't like me for some reason. Let's see why. Refresh. Inspect. By the way, if you go to console, it will tell you what the error is. It tells me there's an error. See that? It says uncode reference. Menu on click is not defined. Oh, what? Why is that? And here it tells me where. So let's see why. It works nice before. Here we go. It's not defined. Let's click here. It will show me where the code is. Menu on click. What is that? Slack compiler. Menu on click. Why it doesn't say why it's not defined? It is defined. Let's see. Let's go to here. By the way, you should see the error as well here. But I don't see it because it's Ajax. And the Ajax will not show it to me. So let's see what is that supposed to be. On click. Let's see what is that code is. By the way, this is real life, what you see now. And if you go into the static, you will see there is also GS. Under the GS, I put here Uganda town V1, okay? And here I have a lot of JavaScript. So in the home, instead of, I don't have style, but I don't have also JavaScript. If you go down, I told you, you put it under the, I don't have even JavaScript, but pay attention to this line. Everybody see that? I put all the JavaScript right in a separate file. So you can put the script in a file and you can put the style in a file. And that's the way you do it. Otherwise, this one would be so long, you won't find yourself. So, but see what the error here, it says it can't find that function. It's supposed to be here really. So let's go here and let's see the error. It says, let's copy that one. Menu on click. Then it doesn't tell me exactly which line. It should tell me which line, but it doesn't. Here we go. It tells me it's not defined. On click, not defined. Let's see what it is. What is this function is? Let's find it. Control F, Control V. Let's see if I find it. No, it's not there. Who is calling that one? Who is calling that one, by the way? Anybody wants to guess? Let's see if I do that. Oh, here we go. I found the function. That means, if you notice, please pay attention. It's a function that takes a slug, which is a compiler. So it is defined here, but somebody is calling this function. I will get back to that in a second. But let's go back to what we did before, because otherwise you will get lost. Let's go to the boxes again. Where's the boxes? Anybody see boxes? Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Let me go back to this a second, and I'll come back. Don't worry. We'll finish the class with that. I won't go before I will explain that one. So let's do file. Where's the box? Box is not here. Yeah, here it is. Boxes. And by the way, we have, how about we do a style? We did already a style of a box. How about we go to the box and we do with 100 and 200 px. Fair enough? Everybody agree? Everybody see that? Let's run it again. We don't have that. So go back to here. I did it. I closed everything. 127. Get back to that. Let's go back to here and double click on this one. Here we go. Everybody see that it's 200 now? Michael, Brenda?
Yes, we do
Yeah.
see.
Now I would like to add another button that will take it out and bake. Fair enough? How would I do it?
Okay.
So let's go back here. By the way, we have the code right in the bottom here
Script.
in the script. I'm going to add another button. We have buttons here, don't we? Here we go. We have another button. So let's take another button here, put it all the way down, after this one even. And this button, we call it a change width. Fair enough? And we have change width, that will be the function. And we call it change width. Everybody, and that one, everybody know by now, is that right?
Yes.
It's a button. I just gave it a name. And that's a function. I need to create this function, is that right?
That's right.
Okay, and I like to copy for myself, as you already know. Control V, and we call this one change width. By the way, there's many ways you can do it, by the way. This is one way to name stuff, and there's another way, but let's do that way. Okay, so we have a function called change width. Which width do we want, by the way? Whose width do we want to change? We have two
The
buttons.
background color.
We have two parts. You see that, Amos? How about we take the box, the one that include Amos, okay? How about we change it? We call this one Amos box. And that's one we call Daniel box. It's easier to remember. Daniel box. Fair enough? And if I want really to change Amos box, I need to call it first. Here, I'll make a var, call it like element, and we can do document. That one you have to know by heart. Document dot get element by, anyone want to complete the sentence?
ID.
ID, very good. So, and now I put it in parentheses. And now I have a reference to the element of Amos box. What do I want to change? In the element, I want to change the style. And which style do I want to change? The width. Fair enough? And let's
Yeah.
put it to be not 200, 100. So we'll make it smaller, is that right? It's originally 200. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay, so let's see if it works. Why is it almost disappear on me? Where did I put it? Okay, let's go big here. Double click. Here we go. Now we have the box, change width. Let's click. Oh, you see that? It make it shorter. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How about I want it, when I click on it once, it will disappear. This way it will disappear. I put it 0. Is that right? Let's try it again. Again, I always click on the wrong one. What happened? Why does it disappear? Ah, I think it's here. Yeah, that's what happened. I use Ubuntu and okay, refresh. When I click on it, disappear. I want to click again and I want it to show it to me. How would you do it? Anyone? Anybody want to participate? I want this button, the send button. When I click on it once, it will show it to me. And if I click on it again, I want it to disappear. How would you do it? We know how to disappear, is that right?
You put the wood.
I don't want to make another button. I want to use the same button.
We shall have to put it.
So what do you think? Anybody? You need some condition, don't you? There's many ways you can do it. One, really there are many ways. One way you can do, let's do the following. How about if I do that, I put it on the top here, and you immediately see alert is showing me you something. I want him to show it to me what the width when I'm clicking on the button before I change it. So let's look at it. Refresh, click. What is supposed to show me? Anybody?
Large.
Shall not put.
It should show me 200, don't it? I don't see anything. Why? It doesn't like me. By the way, I can see what the error is by doing inspect and going to the console. I got an error. Style of undefined. Oh, good. By the way, it's helping
Not
me.
lamination.
Yeah, because it doesn't know what Elm is. So it should be really under
Below.
this one after I define what the Elm is. Is that right? That makes sense. You can close it now. Refresh. And what should I see now? 200, isn't it? This page says nothing. Wow. Doesn't have width, but it does have, doesn't it? Style, width. It doesn't show me anything. Okay. How about show me the style? If it will show me anything. So I can't count on that one, seems to me. Oh, it shows me that it does have an object. It does have a CSS style declaration. It does have an object, but it doesn't show me width by itself. So maybe I should call it differently. I have no idea. Maybe this way. But you can look it up. Honestly, I don't really know. But I'm not going to kill myself. I can go and look it up if I want. But many times I do it smarter way that I don't depend on him. It says nothing. It means it really doesn't show me when it uses the classes. So I'm giving up, and I'm gonna do it smarter. I'm gonna do it smarter in the sense, I'm gonna add to the button another attribute, and is let's say closed. Closed, it means that I call it false, because originally it does have a width. Is that right? And if it's false, I want it to close it, and that would be true. So let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to do another things here to the button itself. The button, I gave it a name. You see that? Everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the name of the button. So I can call it whatever I want. Element button, BP or B, it's enough. Okay? I usually call it better. I usually like to really, so I won't get lost in the future, because I can forget button change width. That's fine. It took weight, but the computer really doesn't care. It doesn't take that much memory anyway. That's the button itself. By the way, there's another function you should really know. You should know by heart. It is get attributes. That get attribute. And which attributes do I want to see to get? Anybody? This one. You see that is closed? I made attributes called is closed. I invented it. I made it myself. So I'm going to put it here. This is called attribute. This is the attribute. By the way, it's an attribute, but include a function. This is ID, it's also an attribute. All of them are attributes. So if I want the value, this one I can call val, and I can give it any name I want. Let's call it X, so you don't get confused. So it tells me X will be for me false or true. Is that right? Let's print it, alert, and print X. Let's see what we see. It really should show me, is that right? It should tell me false. Let's run it. Click on it. You see it says false. Why is it false? Because what we see here, I got the object button, and I took the attributes from the button. This is an attribute, and the attributes X is really representing the is closed. Many times I don't call it X. I just wanted you to see that you can call it anything you want. Sometimes I use the same word so I don't get lost, but you don't really have to. So this is says closed. Is that right? That's what we
Right.
got here. That's exactly what it is. And then, by the way, he made it disappear. So I want to be smarter. I want to be after, you know, I want to check is X, if X equal to false, what I want it to do. If it is false, what do I want to do? I really want to close it. Is that right? Everybody agree?
Agree.
And what do I want to do if it's not? Anybody? By the way, this one, it's much smarter to put on the top. Okay, if it is false, I want that one to be 0. Let's see if it works first, and then we'll continue. One, yeah, it false. it made it disappear. But if I click again, I want it to come back. And how will I make it? How will I do it? And that's
Else.
logic, really. What I would like, if I did close it, it shouldn't be anymore, the attribute shouldn't really be anymore it shouldn't really be any more false. So I would like to do is to take this element, after I close it, I closed it, is that right? Now there's an element, there's a function called set attribute. And I'm going to change it to true. So it's flipping. You got it? Everybody got the logic?
Yeah.
Yes.
So next time I will click, it will not be false. If it's not going to be false, I would like him to do
Yeah.
what? What I want him to do?
To appear again.
I want to bring this one to be 200. Is that right? Is that right?
Right.
And hold a second. And I want to flip that one again. And that will be false. Now let's see if it works. Click. It doesn't work. No, nothing works. Why it doesn't work? What do you think? I have the M, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. What did I do wrong? M with 0. M with 200. Is there any mistake? Did I screw up anything? Take this one first out altogether. How about that? That's it. Why I made a mistake. Just to figure out. Yeah, this is working. Okay. So what's the problem with that? Control Z. Put it back. So is there anything wrong here? I don't see anything wrong. They make set attribute. That's correct. Element. Ah, yeah, of course. I forgot the else. Is that right? Am I right? Forgot that's if, else. Is that right? If that's false, do that. Otherwise, do that. I forgot the word else. Now it should work. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Wow, that's pretty, isn't it? What do you think, Brenda? Brenda, did you like it? Brenda,
Yes,
you like it or not?
I did.
Okay, how do we make it nicer? How do we make it smarter? Let's go to the Uganda town. You see those? Do right click on these. Inspect. See how you copy. If you look at this one, if you have good eye, it says we have this A, and I'm trying to find out. Here we go. It doesn't give me the code here. So I will find it. Okay, I will find it. Close open button. Let's go to the code. Close open button. I always forget. Go back to the home. Control F. Close open button. You see that? Wanda, you see that? You see it or not?
I am seeing it.
What is it?
Sin.
So what am I gonna do with it? Why did I copy it? How about we do that? Now this will be really cool. Watch it. Let's refresh. Hey, what do you see, Brenda?
I say lines, 3 lines.
That looks familiar. See, if I click, it's closing and opening, isn't it?
Yes.
Right.
It is.
How can we be smarter? How about we take this one out of here? All together. And go next to Amos. Put it here. Now let's see what happened. Fresh. Pretty cool, isn't it? Is that right, Brenda?
Yes, that's right.
How about if I want this one to be on the right side? How would I do it? That would be a little confusing. There is something called fixed. I can do in the buttons. We did the buttons here. I can call position, and all of a sudden you get confused, called fixed. Please read about it. Very important. Let's see what happened now. The one looks like anything's happened. I don't know, we'll see. This one went up. Did you see that?
Right.
Yeah, the function.
Under that, it's really hiding. That means when this one is fixed, the page ignoring the existence. So this one takes as if this one doesn't exist. So this button, I want to see it. So I want to see the button. How do I make the button to see it? Where do we put the button? We put it right here, is that right? This is the button. And I can make a style here. Style equal. And what do I want here? I want width to be equal to 100 px. What's going to happen now, Brenda?
And
Hey, I did the width.
It's longer.
No, I did the button longer. Hold a second. I will change the button to span. I think but span, maybe, hold a second, span. I think span would take it differently. Yeah, that's it, that works. No, it doesn't. I have to use, I use a different trick, by the way. Let's leave it button as it was before. And I will have to use the different trick. Hold a second, not a width. Let's do margin. Margin left. Let's see if that works. Yeah. See, it takes the margin from the beginning. Is that right?
yes.
Now what happened now? Let's say I click. Oh, this is disappear. And this is stay in the right place. You see? That's pretty cool. But how about if I want, when this is closed, I want this one to move to the left. When it's open, it will move to the right. How would you do it? Let's see who is the smart one to do it. Everybody got the point? If I click, it's operating, it's closing it. Is that right?
Right.
I click again, we know how to do it with the if. But now, not only I want to close, I want to move this one too. I want to do two things at the same time. How would you do it? So one thing, it's definitely, I have to refer to this button. I'm already referring to this button in my code. I do have that element. Is that right?
Right.
I already have the reference. What do I want to do? If it falls, it means I'm going to close it. So what do I want to do to this element? That left margin, is that right?
Right.
I hope I'm writing it right. I will look it up if it's not. And what I want to do in the left margin to be equal to how much? 0. I want it to go to the left. Let's see if it works. Refresh, click. It didn't go, so probably, let's see, I will call it JavaScript. See the way I look it up. JavaScript,
Isn't it supposed to be margin left?
left margin. Let's see, here we go. JavaScript, set. I don't want get, I want set. Fair enough? Okay, so let's see. Margin left. I call it the other way around. I should call it margin left. You never can remember all of it. You just need to know it exists. And then you just look it up. Otherwise, okay. So that should work. I just changed it margin left. Okay. What do you think? It's gonna work or not? It didn't. Why not? Should work. What do you think, Michael? Why it doesn't work? Let's see.
The else part.
I think I'm missing the word style. Isn't it? It should be style, isn't it? Or did I close it? No, not this one. Not this one. Did I close that one? Yeah, I did. I think I should write style. It should say style. Not style. That should do it. Pretty good. But if I click again, nothing happened. What happening? I do refresh. Click. Click. It's open that one, but my button didn't move. I want it to move back, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how would you do it? You know, you don't really even have to think too much. Just you say the same logic. I just copy this one to here and do what? Change it to 200. Right? That should work. Now that's pretty cool. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Right.
How about we make the box of Amos to be longer? You know, both of us has a box, but I want to add also, I can add extra style that Daniel doesn't have, Hyatt. I don't know how, I never spelled right Hyatt. Did I spell it right? No, no. How do you spell Hyatt? E-I,
H-E.
is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah, I think this is okay now. How about 50%? Let's see what happened now. Fresh. Oh, we get a long one. You see that? Pretty cool. Close it. Open it. That looks really cool, isn't it? It already looks like what?
The Ugandan town
Like the way
site.
this one's supposed to work, but I have a bug there. I will
Yes.
fix it. Okay? I don't know why I get an error. It doesn't find some function. I don't know why. I'll fix it. In fact, we can try to fix it, but basically it works the same. I know this one. Which one is those ones? What did I got those ones for? Okay. Let's go back to this one. The boxes. Here we go. So I can click here, and that works. Very similar. By the way, I can make a list here. I don't really need the Daniel there. In fact, now you can think about it. You know, let's remove Daniel here. And we can put Daniel inside here. Is that right? And then what do we see now? We'll have really a nice second list. Is that right? I want to put a third one. Is that right? I can put any list I want. Is that right? And now if I go
Right.
again, I have a list. Is that right?
Yes.
Of stuff. Is that right?
Yeah.
And this is closing and opening. I had that. Why it doesn't like me? Yeah, here we go. Okay. It looks like it's opening and closing. Is that right? But I have a list. And what do I want in the list to do? If I click on one of them, I would like it to open something else on the right. Correct?
Yes.
Correct.
That's exactly what we did here, didn't we? If I click on Antebe, I want it to show it. By the way, something is got wacky. I destroyed something. I need to fix it. I was working on it. I'm in the middle of editing the tender. I was working on the tender. I probably destroyed something. I'll fix it. But basically, when you click here, it's supposed to open here and move it to the left. This one should work. I'll fix it in a minute. But the beautiful part, I would like, how do I make those one to be a list, like a click? Anybody?
Create a function.
Anybody? Brenda?
When you click on the list, I think you have to create a function.
Yeah, but how I turn Amos to be a link?
Or you use the HR. You introduce the HR.
Exactly.
Pattern.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right, Brenda?
Yes, that's right.
And now we need to put air here, what? H,
REF.
F. And we have to put some value. If we put something like that, it will not do anything, okay? So if we go back now, we just really turned this one to be a link. Yes, I didn't do something right. What did I do? A, it's okay.
There's an A. This A has to go away.
I have two A's.
Yes.
Okay. Now it should be okay. And now when I click on it, you see the mouse has changed. I can do it to all of them. Is that right?
That's right.
Beautiful. Now, I don't want to do it so primitive. I want to do it smarter. I want to make a loop here. And that's when this is a template, we get a data in it from the table. We got the table for this one. This one we get from a table, is that right?
Yes.
So I want to make a loop around here. That's when we use Ginger for X in X's. I'm just making it up, okay? Assuming that X's is a variable I'm transferring to here. And here we'll write and 4. That's Ginger, very similar language. But this one allow me, And now, what do I do with the X? X could be a record in the database. And I can change that to be X. Let's say in the database, I have X dot first name. Is that right? Something like that. That makes sense?
Yes.
And I can be even more sophisticated. Not really one step ahead, but at least let's see what do we have that in the code of Academy City in the Uganda towns. Let's go back to HTML. That's the template. Is that right? Let's look at the cities. This is the place we're doing the cities. Remember? Here we have the four. You see that? The four town in towns. I'm transferring towns to this one. So for every town, do this stuff. You see that? Pretty cool. By the way, here we go. In here, by the way, in Jinja, we use double quotation. I didn't do it right here, by the way, now that I'm noticing. In the box, where is the box? Here we go. I really should, this is wrong. I should use this. Is that right? Is that right? I'm doing a loop. I have to transfer, this is my table name. That's the towns. I can change that to towns. Is that right? Towns. Let's call that town. I called it many times, town underscore, many times I do that. And then the X is really town. What I really mean is town. Town underscore. Because sometimes it's just for me. This is double, I just need one S. So I need to transfer really the variable towns to this template. Am I right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Otherwise, he doesn't know what towns is. But after he does the loop, in fact, this is really should be town name. That's the way I did it. In a minute, I will show you the code. Town name. Let's see what I did. And the home. By the way, this is exactly the way I did it here. Let's forget about this one for a second. Let's forget about the if. But we have, here we go. We have the town underscore dot town name. And for town underscore in towns, do that. Inside A, I gave it an ID. That's a smart way that the ID would be unique. So many times I write some name, this is the home, and it put really the slug. A slug is like a name that he's creating. It's like the ID. So it's making ID with the word home and the ID of the record. But forget about that one. href, even that one I change. I want to tell him what to do when you click on it. I didn't cover it for now. The most important thing is I put the font to be 20, so it will look nicer. I can change the size to smaller if I want to make the A to look a little smaller. But that's, who cares? What we really care about is we looping around, we're making A's to each one of them. When I click, it will do whatever inside the href. But this is very tricky. This is really hard. It's just because I use Django CMS, I won't be able to if I don't do this trick. And that's really too advanced for now. By the way, if you have good eye, there's here that it puts the hash. It's really putting a hash unless I am the user, I'm an administrator, I'm a staff member. If you are not staff member, it will work differently. You got it?
Yeah.
So in fact, if you go here and you do right click on each one of them or add either one of them, look inside, you see what it does? It put a hash because I'm not an administrator now. You see that?
Yeah.
That if comment. Let's go into as an administrator for a second, and you'll see how that if works differently. Okay, let me go back to the same place. And let's do right click, inspect, and let's look at here. By the way, do you see it's changed? If I'm an administrator, hey, give me totally different link. That's pretty cool. By the way, to a different city, Apache, he does the same things, but he put Apache in here. So he's going to a different link to every city. How does he know how to do it? That's pretty cool. How does he know how to do it? That's a hard one. With that, we'll finish. I'll just go over there and we'll finish, okay? I need to go and pick up my wife. Otherwise, she's throw me away.
Today
Is that right, Brenda?
Yes, today is Valentine.
Is that right or not?
It's right. Today is Valentine.
She's too good looking, so I can't give her up.
Yeah, today is Valentine actually.
I am right. I better rush. You're right. But don't you think it's exciting to know how does it do it? My God. And here is the beauty. Something I skipped on the teaching today. You see, it says town underscore get absolute URL. You see, looks a little familiar now.
Yeah, it gets
Why did we
the
define that one
Views.
in the model?
the model.
And the town has this function. I skipped in certificate one. Hey, this is the function it does.
Yeah.
And what does it do? When I call it from here, is calling it for that specific town. And that specific town, what it does, it knows the slug of that specific town. That's pretty hard. Is going to call Uganda town and transferring to it the slug of the, okay, what is this one? God, what is this one? There's a function called reverse. What it does, it goes to the application Uganda town, which is here, we already know. It goes to the URL town. So I have to go here and find town. Here we go, I found town. And he's going to call this function, but he's transferring the town slug. In another word, he's going to call this function. And this function really is nothing but reopen the web page, but clicking on that city. And when you click on that city, I can use the Django CMS. That's pretty hard. Michael, don't kill yourself. That's okay. I already killed myself 100 times until I understood it.
Okay.
Okay? Don't worry, it really is hard. Am I right?
Pretty challenging.
Because if it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. So we want to do stuff that other people cannot do. It's really beautiful. It really is piece of art. But it's a lot of creation. It's really creativity. You can read it in books, by the way. It's a lot of that I developed as a methodology on a way of thinking. And this is beautiful. This one, it's extremely useful. This is so important. This is telling me if I want to open a web page for a specific town, this is the function for it. So he's going to open this web page. Why this is? Because town in the URL, if I go to the URL, town, it really is opening a web page. We know that. This is the URLs. And which function he's going to use? The index inside the view. And when he's opening it, he's, by the way, I'm transferring the slug. Why I'm transferring the slug? So he's going to go into the town's database, put up the town, and transferring it. Oh my God, this is totally confusing. He's calling another function. He's calling this function. with 2 dashes. I did those functions, by the way. When it gets to this function, it's calling the projects, the director, the services, the towns, transferring it to render, and we know what render is. And pretty cool, is calling the home page exactly the same one we started with. So when I'm clicking on this one, it's going in such a circle to open the home, but as if I clicked on the home and it's presenting the web page for that town inside the same web page. That's pretty cool. From your point of view, it looks like when you click here, it looks like, oh, I need to fix up, of course, the error. It's not really an error. I was in the middle of editing the trend. I will talk about it next time. When I click on one of them, what it really does is going in a circle and opening up the same page just as if it was for Apache. If I click on Antebe, it's opening the same page from the beginning for Apache. The reason is the only way you can use the editing, it's only this way. Ajax will not let me do editing. So when I don't, if I'm not an administrator and I let the user, which is the citizen in the country, is not going to edit it, I will do Ajax, and that I will explain next time. Okay? So we did a hell of a lot today. Is that right? Brenda? Daniel? You were quiet, Daniel, today. Say something.
Turn on your video.
I was seriously observing.
So what are you going to buy to your girlfriend for Valentine's Day? Hey, he's turning the camera. I just asked him to buy a Valentine present. He's turning off this camera. Did you see that? I can't believe it, Daniel. Come on. Come on, Daniel. Okay, you don't have to buy her anything. You know, go and buy her some flowers. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. And never underestimate a woman. Am I right, Brenda? Brenda,
Yes.
isn't it the best sentence for the day for Valentine? Never underestimate a woman.
That's
Am I right?
That's right. You're right.
It's very true, by the way. Women have a lot of power, much more than they realize. And sometimes they use it too much. And then they find out they don't have a husband.
Right.
Depends.
And that's very true. But in order for the man to make sure the woman don't do it, he has to behave like a lion. Otherwise, the lioness eats him alive like a cake. Am I right, Brenda, about it?
In Uganda, it is the right.
How about you make as a picture, make as an application, a lion run after a lioness? Can you do that? In JavaScript? What do you say, Brenda? That's pretty cool. Like I did the boxes, you take 2 pictures. The lioness is the first one, the lion is the next one, and make the lion run. You know, you make a button. One button says a lioness runs faster, so the picture of the lioness goes faster. The other button says they run in the same speed. And the third one, the lion runs faster than the lioness. Let's see if you can do it. Then I will salute to you. That's a beautiful exercise. What do you think, Michael? That's the project for Wednesday. Everybody, I really want to see it. Get a picture from National Geography or whatever, 2 pictures, lion and lioness, and make 3 buttons. Make 1 button, you know, both of them moving the same speed. That means that, is that right?
Okay.
Am I right?
Yes.
Another button, you make the lioness goes a little faster to the right. And the third one, it's the lioness slower. That's pretty cool exercise. That's a hard one, but it's a beautiful one. Okay, guys, see you. Have a good one. And go celebrate Daniel. Don't be, spend some money.
No, beat him.
Have a good one.
All right.
Bye, guys. לא רוצה למשהו, אני לא יודע מה קורה לו.